Thank you all once again for tuning into the show that gives you the scoop on life, entertainment, and trends. I'm gathered here with three lovely ladies, as usual. We've got Freda Harris, who is a business owner, Melody Westerfield, who is the creator of Drinks and Dialogue, and we've got Zuri Johnson, who is Miss Plus Ohio, Plus America, Ohio, can you help me? Plus Ohio Dayton. You all help me out every time.
Miss Ohio Plus America 2015. I'll be passing on my crown here soon.
All right. Yeah. Can you repeat your title one more time?
Miss Ohio Plus America.
Hey man, you all give it up for her, okay? We need a moment for that. Well, since we've butchered your title, or I've butchered your title, we're gonna let you actually start the show off. Go ahead.
I appreciate it so much.
You are welcome, girlfriend.
Recently in the news, several states, Kentucky included, they have been having these LGBT bills, these bills that are regarding small businesses being able to decide whether or not their services are going to be lent to those of the LGBT community, more so marital services. Now with that, a lot of companies are deciding whether or not they want to do business in these states. Mississippi, North Carolina, those are the main ones that have actually passed these bills. PayPal has actually said that they were originally going to be expanding 400 employees in North Carolina. They're not doing that anymore.
And Mississippi.
And Mississippi as well. And even cities, the city of Dayton, Ohio has recently said that their employees are not going to be flying into Charlotte, North Carolina anymore unless it's like absolutely necessary. So do you all think these bills, do you think that the legislators even thought about the impact that these bills would have?
Yes, in Mississippi.
You think they thought about it?
Oh yeah, I think the people that are passing, that have put forth the effort to pass these bills, they knew what they were doing when they passed them. Because I mean, it literally is to restrict people that are in the LGBT community, period.
But look at the economic effect that it's having, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they thought that it would be a big deal. I saw on the news the other day where in North Carolina, Bruce Springsteen was supposed to do a concert. He totally canceled it. And they said a lot more artists are pulling out as well because of this. So I guess they don't want to make no money in them states.
They have a huge community of LGBTQ people, and especially in Mississippi. That they were saying 57% of those people were lived and contributed in Mississippi and were born there too. So I saw that recently. So that's a lot. That's a huge population.
It's not as surprising just because in those areas, you know, they're southern states, they're usually more conservative. Those areas, that's the big church belt right along those lines. And so as far as giving the small businesses the ability to choose whether or not they're going to lend their services, I can see where they thought they were thinking of the community in that sense, but then so many other people are getting affected just because they feel like, oh, you're not supporting LGBT.
You're restricting rights.
Right.
Well, I'll say this. So the law that they put in is anything that's restricting marriage. So if you've got a photography company, if you've got a cab driving service, a cake company, all those people have the right to say, no, we don't have to, or we don't want to offer you services if you are a part of the LGBTQ community. Which I think that there could be a lot of instances where, you know, somebody may be on their way to a wedding. It could be an emergency. That person could be dying, and they call the cab company, take them to the emergency room, and they say no. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are types of situations that you don't really think of that are kind of dire.
That's why they're going to
situations.
have to end up paying out a lot more money in legal fees. It's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming along the way.
But I can see, well, at least as far as the travel, things like that, like, would the person just be offering up like, hey, I'm about to go to this same-sex marriage, or would they just be saying, I have a marriage that's about to happen? Now, as far as the specific details, a cake, if it was a minister or something like that, they would know. But if I'm calling up for a car, would I necessarily be saying what type of marriage it is, or would I just be saying that it's a marriage,
That's just
a wedding?
like me as a business owner being able to say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I don't serve your kind. It just reminds me of when we weren't getting services and we were denied the rights of everyone else. That's what it really reminds me of. And I think it's really setting America back years, centuries.
We talked about this on another show, the last show, I believe, and we were talking about the responsibility that companies and organizations have to say, you know, this is going to affect the people that we service, or, you know, maybe your major clientele, or even with the NFL, you know, a lot of the people that are playing, that are football players, are a part of the LGBTQ community. So
No, they're not.
Yeah,
right. And we said exactly, and we stated that last time how the NFL did not want to go into
it was in North Carolina.
North Carolina?
No, Atlanta. That's where they were going to
Hold the
They were
Super Bowl.
considering the next Super Bowl for
that's
Atlanta.
right. Yeah.
And speaking of which, so during the NFL Combine, there was an NFL coach that asked Eli Apple, who was a prospect for the NFL, if he was gay. And it turns out that Eli was not gay, but he asked him because it was the city of Atlanta, and he said, well, if you get picked here, this is something that you're going to get used to. Afterwards, he was made to issue an apology by the NFL. But I want to ask this. Is it offensive to ask if what someone's sexual orientation is?
That is illegal. It's not only offensive, it's
illegal.
According to HR policies, you can't decide whether or not you're going to choose someone based on their sexual orientation, anything of that nature, gender,
And
race,
again,
all of those
the fact
things.
that we are still asking people these questions in 2016, I don't understand. What relevance is it?
Well, assuming is even worse. I've done that. I've assumed someone is gay or lesbian, and I've asked the question and been totally embarrassed by the response because I've looked at the outside appearance or something like that, and I've been totally embarrassed.
But what made you even want to ask the question?
The look. I prejudged someone based off of their look, and I thought I was doing something nice. I was going to
Suggest
set 'em up
something.
or
I was going to
something.
set them up.
Oh, goodness.
But when we know better, we do better.
And I have not ever asked that question.
Thank
But
you.
people ask a lot. I've been asked before. I mean, I think men ask sometimes just to see. Obviously, that's something that's very prevalent. People are very open now about their sexual orientation. So I think that
they
men
are.
sometimes ask and say, well, hey, are you interested in men? And you say, well, yeah. Or they may say, are you dating anybody? He's like, are you interested in men? Or are you
I don't
interested in
know.
women? So I don't know. I mean, I've
think
been
that-
asked several
I think-
times. I wasn't offended by it. I mean,
Well,
I
women are
wasn't,
not. I
but-
don't think women are. I don't think women are. But when a man asks another man or a woman asks a man, that is way different. They take that personal. And
Well, I could
women,
take it personally too
Yeah,
if somebody
absolutely.
asked me, just because like you said, someone's prejudging. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what about me made you come to this conclusion? And it's not to say anything against one community or the
Yeah.
other,
Right.
but what about me made you think that you were going to just think that I was one way or the other?
Yeah.
So, but I can say men are. I'll say men are definitely more sensitive about it. I could be offended, but they are extremely
Because some men do not
sensitive.
care if a woman likes a woman. As long as they like them too, they don't really care.
That's deep for me. But
Trust
you know
and
what? I was
believe.
listening to the radio and the other day, and there was an R&B, a new up and coming R&B singer. I don't know his name at all, but he was up and coming, and he is open about being gay. And one of the questions, I mean, the people on the radio were saying how I'm proud of them that he had came out, but I question how hard was that for him to have that conversation with his parents, his personal friends. I mean, he's out to the world now, but he had to start with his personal.
Hopefully, he was able to start with.
Hopefully, yeah, because everybody is not, you know.
I remember when Frank Ocean came out a few years ago. Everybody was shocked and amazed and stunned. What was the song he did? Something I can't think of, but it was a real catchy song. And I remember when everybody was like, "Oh my gosh," you know. But I think that he hid it for so long because he hadn't told his family about it, you know. And people feel real different about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's a hard conversation to even have.
Well, I'm very open about, you know, my sexuality. I'm obviously not gay, but if I had a child who needed to talk to me on that level, I would be very open. I wouldn't say that the news wouldn't be hard for me, but I would be very open and receptive of what they had to say.
It seems like a very taboo topic to talk about. It's kind of like race. oftentimes was skipped over. People were very afraid to address the big elephant in the room and to say, okay, well, this is a race issue. Let's talk about it. Let's get to a point where we can talk openly about it without offense. And I think oftentimes that is a topic that people are afraid to address and even ask about.
Starting the conversation.
Right, there you go. And I mean, for a lot of people, it's celebrated, right? I mean, there are different demographics of people that feel differently about it, but for a lot of people, it's something to celebrate. So I just think being able to discuss it is a great thing. But guys, we got to go to break.
Oh,
yes, I know. Minutes, they're just popping right on by.
Because I was about to start.
Listen, when we come back, we're going to be talking about many, many, many more interesting topics. You all stay tuned and get scooped. All right, and we're back, and we're going to let Freda kick this session of the show off.
In recent news, well, I don't know how recent, but I know here in Frankfurt, there's been a lot of articles in the newspaper about heroin addiction and how it's really plaguing our community, and not just our community, but nationwide. And one of the things that lawmakers are struggling with is what to do because it's an illegal narcotic. So recently they've come up with different ways of how to handle this. I know they've opened up a lot of treatment centers as well as providing some sort of counseling, and even they're called Suboxone clinics. Have y'all heard of those?
Yeah.
So one of the questions, my question is, how do you think that they people were wondering, like, okay, because I've been reading comments, people were saying, well, they're doing illegal narcotics, how come we're not just locking them up? So do you all think that the solution is to lock them up, or either to find treatment for them?
Well, I think what you're talking about, referring to, is the heroin bill. It was recently signed into act here in Kentucky by the governor recently, not too long ago. So
What was
it's called the heroin bill, and for people, if you're on heroin and you have OD, you can call the police, and you are
Someone else can call the
someone else. Yeah, thank you. Well, you
sorry.
can call the police, or whoever's standing beside you can call the police, and they'll offer you free counseling. You can also swap in and out your needles to keep you from, getting any type of transmitted disease.
I actually was sitting
and you also
in
get
that.
counseling as well too, if that's something that you're interested in. While I think that the heroin bill is a good bill, I have my concerns with it, and it bothers me a lot, mainly because it only reaches one demographic. Heroin is one of those types of drugs that only reaches us, it doesn't reach out to other communities that deal with certain drugs. Like we know
Like
in the
crack.
black community, crack is a big deal, right? Or cocaine.
They're doing heroin too.
And heroin is something that affects only usually a limited number of people.
but everybody's
And
doing
it
it
bothers
now.
me that there is a pass there, but there's not a pass when it comes to other drugs that affect other communities. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed, because if you're going to offer counseling for people that do
And no jail
heroin, then there
time.
needs there needs to be counseling that's offered to people that struggle with crack cocaine, that struggle with any of those other
marijuana
drugs or
addiction.
different
Well,
things
because
like
remember,
that too.
they had those mandatory minimums. If you got caught with crack or cocaine, there were mandatory minimums in other states. And the fact that you even said that, because I was about to segue into that, but I think Zuri has some thoughts on it too.
No, because it just bothers me. I've come to a place where it bothers me so much about our policies on who gets arrested, who has to go to jail for certain drugs. So now they have this thing where they are offering, you could swap out needles. So what does that mean? I could still do it. I'm just giving you you're giving me a clean needle for a dirty needle. But you're giving me this option. Whereas if I had a pound of marijuana, or if I had a whole bunch of cocaine, there's not something saying that I get counseling for that. It's, no, I just go to jail, which those things affect another community very heavily. And that's crazy to me, because at least marijuana, which I'm not someone that smokes, but the fact that it's legal in certain states, whereas here, you do that here and you're going to jail. Let that be your first strike, your second strike, your third strike. You trying to get yourself together. You may need to stop smoking, yes, but it's so unequal.
Right.
The treatment of it is so unequal.
While I don't totally knock the bill, because I love the fact that it does offer counseling. I love
But
the
we
fact
need to
that
offer counseling for these other folks.
Sure. And I've already stated that, so I totally agree. So I'm just saying, I don't I understand and I agree the fact that counseling should be offered, and I think that it does eliminate a lot of the diseases that are coming about and affecting everyday people
from dirty
because
needles and
of
stuff.
dirty needles. I just think that it should be spread evenly
Yeah.
amongst all drugs.
Lyndsey for Congress.
Yes. But I will say, for the people that think that they need to just go to jail, our jails are full.
Overcrowded.
Yes.
They're full.
That's true.
We'll just
They actually came out with a new law. President Obama there's legislation on it to release a very large number of felons that did not do like hard crimes, nonviolent crimes throughout the United States. And I don't know the specific number that they're going to release. It does put you in a position though that when those criminals get out of jail, how they're going to be able to obtain jobs.
Yes.
And so
because there's no provisions made
exactly.
for them.
So there's
especially
a
not
Well,
in
in
the
some
state.
areas
there's a
they
second
have
step
the
to this
box.
law that needs to be kind of
Remove the box
addressed.
I agree with you.
A second level. And also, Governor Matt Bevin, though I give him a hard time about a lot of things, he did recently sign into law the expungement bill a couple days ago.
Yes.
So there are some good things that are being
he
passed
did.
through with Congress and
Started
also
in the
with.
Bashir administration.
Did you hear Freda? Go ahead. We'll let you.
I said it started in the Bashir administration.
There you go.
I know that for a fact.
All right, now, well, okay, so speaking of jail time, we need to move on to our next question. I know you all like Love and Hip Hop, or have we said that? I thought so.
Yes,
Okay.
Ratchet TV.
There you go. Listen, Mendices, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, recently got sentenced to 8 years in prison for drug trafficking. And his wife, Yandy, it appears, has chosen to stay with him. Would you stay with your spouse if they were sentenced to a lengthy amount of time in jail?
It depends on how much I love them and stuff like that. Because sometimes I may feel like it's a break. Like, okay, I know where you are every day, all day, 3 hots in a cot. So for me, it just depends on where our relationship is. It will probably get better and stronger by then.
If you're married, though, this is
Yeah.
not like this is
I
not
said,
your boyfriend.
no, I'm saying, but it depends
Oh, okay.
on how the relationship is.
4
I mean,
years
I have
is
been
a
married.
long
Sometimes you
time.
don't like people.
Yeah.
Girl, why you get me started? Go ahead.
4 years is a long time to be I would stay, but 4 years is a long time to
got
stay.
He got 8 years.
Oh, Mel said she ain't even doing
And
4
there's
though.
some people, and there's some people
he
that
gonna
have
do all
20, 30,
8? No, surely he's
life,
not gonna do all
lifelong.
Federal.
How much drugs was he pushing?
I
I'm trying to figure
I'm
out.
not sure.
His
I didn't
brother
get
told
the.
on him, but girl, we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Listen, I cannot. You all, this is not a recap of Love and Hip Hop or what happened last season or yesterday. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Would you stay, Zuri?
I think it would depend. 8 years, I will say, is a long time, but
Can't make it.
I say it depends on what their charges were. So as far as it being a nonviolent charge, I would be telling them, like, look, you need to be being good. You need to get out early on good behavior.
That's
you need
what I'm
to
thinking.
keep your act together.
And they do have
'Cause
conjugal visits.
That's
But
that's
But
gonna
I'm
be
like,
different.
but this is the thing. So then I'm end up a low-key single mother from the conjugal visit with my husband in jail. Then I'm like, that's not necessarily what I signed up for.
I'm
You
but
don't
it was-
necessarily have to be a single mom just because you're a conjugal
I mean, but the
visit.
life is like a single
I mean, if
mother.
you don't have children, you don't have
No,
to.
but
you
I'm
don't-
saying
she-
from
she's
the
saying, right,
conjugal
you could.
visit, it's
Yeah,
8
because
years.
I'm
I don't know
obviously
however
trying to
many
get
conjugal
knocked up
visits
if I'm
it
in. I
takes.
mean,
No.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm done with all of you all. I say you should honor your vows. I mean, unless it was some type of marriage or like unless it was something that was
Did he honor the vow?
like rape of or something
That's
like
what I
that
said.
of
It just
or
depends.
child molestation, and it's kind of like, wait a minute. But if it was like drug trafficking, I mean, usually you know what your spouse is into.
No,
Yeah.
not all
To
the
them.
time.
Not all the time,
But
but I
sometimes,
think-
but you kind of have an
Let me
idea. So
see.
if they get locked up, then
But they
I
could also
mean,
get locked
they
up
could
for
be
being with the
doing a whole
wrong
bunch of
people.
other
They
stuff.
could have
They may
been.
have a whole nother.
I mean, aren't we talking about Phaedra and Apollo all over again?
I don't know. Listen,
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Goodness gracious. Who's got the third question?
So, of course, y'all know what's going on with the whole, maybe you don't, but the whole Erykah Badu statement. She's under fire right
Twitter.
now on
Yes.
Twitter. Basically, she made a comment and she explains that she agreed with the fact that young girls in the school should wear longer skirts in order to protect themselves from attracting young men and male teachers. I myself agree with the comment. What do you guys think?
Well, what was wrong with the comment? Is that not what's? I mean,
lot of people feel
like-
what's the controversy? Why
The
is there?
controversy is why can't the men just keep their eyes to
Thank you.
themselves?
Come on now.
Wait a minute.
Now,
Wait a minute.
I agree as far as
cannot.
they need to come to school dressed appropriately,
Yeah.
but we keep putting so much responsibility on these
the
girls to
girls.
carry themselves a certain way so somebody doesn't look at them,
Shouldn't
rather
we?
than putting responsibility on
shouldn't
that
you?
man.
I think it's two-sided though. So there's responsibilities that men have, and boys have, but you know, high school boys, they're going through some
But
changes.
no,
So
male
basically, y'all
teachers.
ain't never had you ain't never had to buy clothes going by the school.
Oh, yeah, they
dress
can't
code.
show their collars. They
Girl,
can't
it's
show a
so
lot.
hard when you have girls to buy clothes for.
So basically, part of her comment is she's saying because men naturally, they are these sexual beings, and I guess this is what she's trying to say. You know, naturally they're going to be men, and so women or young girls should not give them reasons
It's
to
just like
act
saying,
out.
if you're a rape victim, don't wear short skirts. Don't wear low-cut blouses.
I don't know that I would.
No, because
relate
that's
that
what
to
people
them.
That's
say.
what a lot of people
That's
say,
what
that,
people
oh, she
say.
was wearing this, or oh, she
I
had a
disagree.
lot of drinks, or oh, this or that. And it's like, no matter what someone is or is not wearing doesn't mean that they asking for it.
And doesn't mean people need to be
listen.
staring
So,
and glaring.
Davis calling the session down. Like, we've got to go to break. When we come back, we're talking about this because
We gotta
there's
keep
a
going.
lot of information that we need to cover here. But
It
when we
gets
come back,
heated on the Elle
It's gonna
Scoop.
go.
That's true.
It's gonna go left.
listen, you all, we're going to be talking about the Black Girls Rock show that recently was out. A little Steph Curry and maybe a little bit of the Obama girls too. What do y'all think? All right, we're going to go to break. You all stay tuned and stay scooped. Well, once again, things got a little heated behind the scenes of the Elle Scoop. So, ding, 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 ladies.
I wasn't trying to make the comparison that if, oh, you're acting like or like they say about rape victims, but what I was saying is that, like Zuri said, it's okay for people to wear and dress the way they want to without feeling like they're going to be under attack or attacked or stared at or glared at or make preconceived notions about the type of person that is.
Well, here's.
But you have to think about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead. Okay. Maybe on the street, in your own time at your house or at the grocery store.
No,
But
anywhere.
at school, that's an institution.
I
That's
kind
an
of agree.
institution.
Okay, and if your
where
school
you
doesn't
should-
have, if there's no
wait.
uniforms,
If that at an institution like school, I think that there should be some type of decency on how your children come to school.
That is going to distract.
Right, the
Other
learning
kids.
environment. and a
I
lot of
believe
other
there
things.
should be
So,
decency.
Yeah.
But you're talking about.
Okay.
She's talking about the girls wearing skirts.
I'm
she
not
didn't-
only talking about girls wearing skirts. I'm talking about girls who are wearing short shorts, tight pants. That is going
They
to
don't
bring.
go to FCHS apparently, because you cannot wear any of that. Because your mother will get a call and you have to come get your child and bring clothes and things like
Well,
that.
and that's fine then. If the school has regulation and those students are meeting that regulation and it's fine based on the school code, then there's no issue. Erica
outside of the
Badu
school-
wasn't addressing those students. Maybe she was addressing the schools that there is no dress code and there is a need
Maybe
for.
she was addressing the schools who have a dress code,
There you go.
and she thinks that the skirts still need to go down a little further. I believe that.
Did she address a specific area? Did she say below the knee to your ankle?
Yeah.
She said to the knee.
To the knee. Okay.
Ooh.
Now,
Well, they make you're supposed to wear in the business world. They say that you should wear skirts to your knee. I mean, as far as your dressing and all that stuff. All I'm saying is
to the knee, yeah. But
All
I'll
I'm saying
say
is-
that
all I'm
it's
saying is-
easier for
Mine
people that
ain't.
are a little bit shorter to find things to
Sometimes
the knee
I-
and might have a little less curves.
Because if you
and
have longer
things.
legs.
But here's the deal, though. So if those are things that these are students here that she's talking about in school, and they are going to have to enter into the workforce at some particular time. So school is a really good training ground for students to learn that, I think, and implementing that in school is not that bad. I don't think. I mean, I think that if they're going to enter into the work world and be great workers that, can move up the ladder, there are lots of people in jobs that do not progress up the ladder based on their presentation.
And there's a
That's
whole
true.
lot of great
Presentation is
workers who
not-
do get
and
good
there's-
jobs based on presentation.
True that
Because
too,
you
but
got
it's
things
not
showing
right.
and
Everything.
people seem to like that, and those are the people that move up a little bit further.
That's true, but and I'm not saying that that's not wrong too. So I'm not saying that just because this is wrong that's not wrong either. All I'm saying is if they're going to move up, it's a responsibility of the school to make sure that they're training students in that way, even if the parents don't.
And
so sometimes they put those rules in for that reason. Go ahead,
No,
Zuri.
I just say
I'm sorry, I talked too
Went
much.
from everybody
No.
to school rules.
I understand and I agree as far as on my end as a parent, I need to make sure that my son and daughter know how to dress appropriately. But if you look at the different rules that they have set up in schools as far as what someone can and cannot wear, a lot of them are girls. Well, female related, what the girls cannot wear. They can't show their collarbones. They have to wear certain
So y'all don't
tightness
think that
of
this
things.
is protection for the female girls?
Not when a girl has to be sent home and have to go home and change clothes, and so she's missing out of her time in
I
the
think
classroom.
she's saying. I think I agree with the fact that why don't we teach these boys
Exactly.
how
Why
to
don't we teach them to
how to be
respect these
respectable
girls?
towards the young
versus
women.
the boy
Okay.
feeling like
Because
I
they're the
have
ones- I can
paid
get
and
that.
she
penalized.
gets sent
They're the
home.
ones
agree
that
with
get
that.
When we
penalized.
first started the question, I said that it was dual-sided, that both sides needed to be addressed, the young
So
men
you
and the
switched?
women.
Because I don't remember you saying
know.
that about no
I said that from the
sides.
very beginning.
Right. She did say it was
If
dual
you're at
sided.
home and you have DVR, or just rewind it a
Roll
little
it
bit.
back.
I'll
All
wait a
right.
couple
She
minutes
did.
because I definitely
Okay.
said it. Thank you,
Well,
Zuri, for admitting that I did say
Yeah,
that.
yes, you did, and I was just saying as
missed
far
it.
as the equality and who needs to, the boys being taught to respect the young women as well, and the women believing that they carry themselves a certain way and walking in there. And I think a really good example of women that are carrying themselves a certain way are the women that get honored in the Black Girls Rock Awards. If you all saw that one. I saw little clips of it. I was like, I need to get to this award show. I need to be in the crowd because I feel like it's this
go.
outpouring of
Yeah.
sisterly love. Everybody's in there like, yes, girl, yes. I could just picture them yelling this from all the different performances. Now, this is Black Girls Rock Awards. I'm sure it's multicultural there. One of our presidential candidates, Hillary Clinton, she was actually one of the people that introduced one of the honorees at the awards.
I haven't seen it yet.
And I'll say there's a meme out there that just shows all of the people looking at her and they're kind of like, they're a little stale-faced.
Blanked eye.
But I've never heard of her being at any previous Black Girls Rock Awards. I'm sure it would have been commented on. So do you all think that she was truly there, like she finally heard about this award show and she was there for support, or do you think that she was just there for some more
both.
support?
I think it was
For
both.
your
I think
publicity.
it's
I think it's both.
it's both?
I mean,
Yeah.
Black Twitter was definitely mad about it. We can call it Black Twitter.
Twitter.
Yes.
Like Twitter.
Are you on Twitter?
No.
Okay,
No,
well,
I'm
Black
getting
Twitter.
there. I'll
Okay,
get there.
so I'll say this. I say for both. Obviously, she's a presidential candidate. So, but I think that a lot of people are really overlooking some of the things that the Clintons did for Black
Exactly.
families.
Yes.
And I know people are upset about the welfare reform, and they are also upset about the rule that President Clinton put in many years ago that placed a lot of Black men in jail. However, underneath his presidency, there were other things that happened that were great for Black people. As far as the unemployment rate went up 25%, which is way more than any other household nationality in the United States. There were the probability for Black people or African Americans to be considered or to be likely for a homicide or to commit a homicide went down by half. There were lots of different things that happened as the income of African Americans doubled, all those things. So
Lyndsey,
I think
was she there for?
I know, but I think people are criticizing her
she's for.
and saying that she is, she's not really for Black people because of those two things that happened. I don't think that the past president knew that was an effect of that would affect as many African Americans as it did, because he helped African Americans in the same way. I do think that she was there for both reasons.
I do too, and I'm thinking, why
Love me, okay?
I'm thinking that she's there to say girls rock.
Yeah, okay.
Period. She
Yeah.
is a woman. She's there to say girls rock, whether it be Black, white, in between.
But was she
girls
there
rock.
last year or the year before last? Because girls were still rocking.
But maybe she
Yes.
wasn't asked.
do you have to be asked to come?
I
To
don't
do a
think she
president.
was.
She's
I don't think
Hillary.
she
But
necessarily
she-
was asked this
Can
time.
she
Probably
just
was
say,
way
hey,
busier
I'm coming
then.
through?
Wait
I
a
think she
minute.
had a connection, but I don't
I'm
think she
coming
was
through.
specifically
I'm
asked this
coming
time.
through. I'm on.
If she was
I'm
sitting in the
sliding back.
crowd, but I mean, she was actually a presenter, so don't you think you have to be asked for that?
She had a connection to come in there, but I'll say if it was any of the presidential
Michelle was
candidates,
her connection.
Hillary was there for votes.
Oh no!
if any of the candidates would have been there, I would have said.
So
for
clear.
Keep
votes.
it real.
I thought it was there for
Keep
votes.
it real.
Okay,
She's
Right.
there for both.
So
both,
we've
yeah.
promised the people that we're going to talk about certain topics, so we have to move on, guys.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So Millennial Magazine, I'm not sure if you all have heard of that, or Independent News, reported that millennials could be the most secular generation in American history. It found that twice as many Americans in 2014 said they did not believe in God as in 1980, and that 5 times as many in 2014 said that they had never even prayed. So do you believe, and I'm just going to skip over the first question, which is, why do you think that is, and skip over and ask. So you all know Steph Curry recently put out shoes with Under Armour, and on the bottom he had the scripture Philippians 4:13 that said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Do you find that it's surprising that Steph Curry's Under Armour shoe was selling so well in a generation where more millennials are more quote unquote secular than ever?
I think there's 2 sides to that. One, these researching and statistics, they're looking at millennials, but they're looking at millennials in America. So we aren't comparing them to millennials all around the world and seeing if it's in Christianity, the belief in God has increased in any other part of the world. America is not the whole world. America's actually not even America. It's the United States of America. It's not even Canada included in that. So I think in those things they have to look at, is it growing in these other areas?
Right.
But with Steph Curry, one, a lot of people could be buying his shoes because they're showing a faith, but also because he's probably the best 3-point shooter we have right now in the NBA.
And what about affordability? They're probably
Yes.
way more affordable than
Yes.
them MJ
Yes.
shoes, honey.
Are they?
And I think he actually
with
turned
Under
down
Under
Nike.
Armour, absolutely.
This
I
is the
think
number
that
one
he-
shoe selling in America.
right,
Did
but
y'all
I'm
know
sure
that?
I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's
Well,
under
I think
150.
he actually turned down Nike because they refused to.
Snopes said they weren't sure if that was true or not.
Oh,
But I mean, that's put out there, but no one knows if it was because of
Really?
the
Because
they
scripture or not.
refused.
Nike didn't match the deal that he had with
They
Under
wouldn't
Armour.
put that.
Here in 2005, he
The
originally
song that he didn't want to put that on there.
they
And I
offered
would-
him.
Let me be clear, and I think that they may say that that's not true, but really, do you really think Nike didn't go for Curry?
I don't know. They just said Nike didn't match what Under Armour offered him this last deal. They had the opportunity to match it. They offered him a deal. He didn't take it, and then they had the opportunity to match it, and they didn't. They didn't match it. However, the show is over, ladies. It has been 30 minutes. Can you believe that? Golly,
No.
once again. You all, thank you once again for tuning in. The show comes on every Sunday at 5 o'clock, and it's also now on at 8 o'clock p.m. Check out the website. It's www.ellescoop.com, and if you have any questions at all that you want us to address here on the show, please be sure to email us at info@ellescoop.com. Thank you all once again for tuning in, and until next time.